This is the fifth argument I've given for the existence of God. The first one was on March 16th of this year, and the other three were between then and now. But this line of thinking is about mental states, and it comes from J.P. Moreland of Biola University. First of all, he says mental states exist. Of course they do. Our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and they are genuinely non-physical, non-material. You can't look at my thoughts. Now, if you say mental states don't even exist, then we can't have a conversation, because then neither of us are thinking. We don't have thoughts, so the argument's absurd. And though some people would argue that mental states are the effect of a natural cause, the physical parts of the brain, and of course they are the effect of that, but we can say with confidence that those mental states themselves are not material. You can't look at my mental state, my thoughts, under a microscope and read them or see them. But second, the explanation for the existence of mental states is either personal or it's scientific. The scientific explanation would be that they are only the result of biological processes, nothing more than biology and chemistry. The personal explanation is that these mental states arise from the consciousness of free moral agents. So which is it? So Moreland says, number 3, the explanation for these mental states, non-physical mental states, is not scientific. It's not a natural, because no explanation has ever been offered that is capable of telling us how these arise, explaining it to us, how mental states arise from physical. Science cannot totally and adequately explain where consciousness came from and how that happened. For instance, no amount of mixing of biology and chemistry has ever been shown to produce something that we know as mental states. Also, there seems to be no inherent or necessary condition between the mental states and the physical states on which they depend. Just because synapses fire doesn't mean we get consciousness. And if physical events have only physical causes, how is it that we have thoughts that are not physical? And yet our thoughts can create physical changes as well as mental changes. So that implies that mental events are separate from physical events. Any and every evolutionary explanation has been found to be inadequate, because consciousness is not necessary to survival, as any tree will tell you. Therefore, he says, the most reasonable explanation for our non-physical mental states is a personal one. And if the explanation is personal, then it is theistic, meaning that it has its source in a free moral agent outside of the physical world. In other words, our non-material thoughts are best explained by the existence of a non-material, supreme, supernatural, divine being. And our word for that is God. So talk to me about this. But also remember to listen to the other 4 evidences. They do each stand on their own, but their cumulative effect is overwhelming evidence for the existence of God. And I'm not done yet. There are still more coming. Let's talk.